I suddenly have a craving for a roasted Trump! Wait, what the hell? Oh, right, the Super Bowl is... God damn, I don't care about sports. What the fuck? Cloverfield! Oh my god, and it's out now?!
What?
Hello, I'm the good.
I'm the bad.
And I'm your host. So, I'm not the biggest fan of kaiju movies. Now, don't get me wrong, I like them. They can be a lot of fun when done right, and someday I would love to do a Godzilla marathon, including the recent Shin Godzilla, and I'm definitely looking forward to Godzilla vs. King Kong in 2020. It's just not a genre I have a huge investment in. But, if I were to pick a favorite, it would absolutely be Cloverfield. When Michael Bay's original Transformers movie was released, a trailer for an unnamed movie ran during the previews, where we saw a handheld camera recording a farewell party until chaos brings everybody outside, where suddenly the damaged head of Lady Liberty crashed through the street. Holy shit, this kind of marketing hadn't been done since Independence Day! Immediately people were speculating, even thinking it may be a Voltron movie, until we found out it was a monster movie by J.J. Abrams called Cloverfield. Filmed in found footage style, it documented the monster's attack, but refused to give us any info about the monster itself. Instead, that was delegated to its alternate reality game, or ARG, and even then there was very little information. This marketing ploy revealed this monster was awakened from the surface of the ocean by deep sea drilling, and even cooler, it was a baby. Meaning this was basically this. Add a secret message that said help us during the end credits and is still alive when played in reverse, people were speculating out the wazoo as to what this all meant, and they were waiting desperately for a sequel. And 8 years later, we got one. Sort of. 10 Cloverfield Lane was connected to the Cloverfield universe, but Abrams said that it wasn't a sequel, but rather a blood relative. But whatever it was also great.
Twerking John Goodman aside.
Abandoning the found footage style, it followed a woman named Michelle being kidnapped by a man named Howard and taken to his doomsday bunker as he tells her the end has come. After a whole movie of subterfuge and distrust, we find out that he's right. Aliens have taken over Earth, and the film ends with Michelle driving to Baton Rouge to help survivors instead of running away as she was akin to do in the beginning. While connections to the original film weren't too obvious, especially with the different monsters, people were still able to draw connections between the two films, and rather well.
And then we have this fucking movie.
We'll get into the background of this movie later, but for now, let's observe the Cloverfield paradox. Okay, it's a shitty pun, but you come up with a better one. The movie opens in 2028, with news broadcasts telling us that the world is suffering a global energy crisis, but a space station with a particle accelerator is projected to solve this issue.
Wait, what? Okay, we know that particle acceleration is essential to atomic fusion, which even in real life we're trying to achieve. But how exactly does doing it in space solve Earth's energy crisis? Granted, we're not a scientist, but wouldn't they need to get the energy back down to Earth somehow?
Oh, by the way, there's the Kelvin gas station. For those who don't know, Kelvin was the name of J.J. Abrams' father, who got him into filmmaking. He puts his name in everything he makes, and blah 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 whatever. We meet Ava Hamilton, played by Gugu Mbatha Raw, and her husband Michael, played by Roger Davies, who urges her to join the crew of the Shepard space station.
Why are you pushing this?
Why do you think?
Because you're sweet. Because people are starving. Because our energy supplies are running out. And this mission could unlock an endless supply of power that could save us all.
Thank you for that. What, did they think we weren't listening to the news broadcasts?
Where we see Earth seems to still be pretty well lit for a planet going through an energy crisis. But we meet the rest of the crew, including Schmidt, the German physicist, played by Daniel Bruhl. You know, the shoehorned villain of Captain America Civil War. The crew fires up the accelerator.
Too much pink energy is dangerous.
Indeed it is, as it fails and the crew has to stay up there for 2 more years, continuously failing every time. The opening theme is great, very reminiscent of the original film's awesome end credits song, Roar. Hamilton wakes up in her cabin, which would be impossible to sleep in, and calls Michael.
I'm working. I've got a patient today with camptodactyly arthropathy coxavary pericarditis syndrome.
What's that?
I'll let you know if I've done my homework.
Oh, something that specific has to mean something. Camptodactyly arthropathy whatever is a rare genetic condition due to a mutation in the gene proteoglycan 4, a chondroitin sulfate proteoglycan that acts as a lubricant for the cartilage surfaces. This gene is also known as lubricin. This condition is inherited as an autosomal recessive. So it's not an Easter egg. Fuck! Hamilton plays a video of her and Michael with their kids and puts it on the window. Weird that NASA would make that a function, but whatever.
And for whatever reason, this image is everywhere on the marketing, what little there is. What, did they think this is the best part? Because it's not. Newsflash movie, you're a Cloverfield movie now. Characters aren't the most important thing.
Wait, what if it's like mirror symbolism? With the loss of her children mirroring how the monster is a baby without its mom. I mean, it's a cool idea, but there's not much evidence for it. At breakfast, the Russian engineer Volkov has a problem with Schmidt, and we find out their countries are on the brink of war with each other. The crew prepares to fire the accelerator again, but not before Monk, the Brazilian doctor, catches a news report where a conspiracy theorist is saying the accelerator could rip open the space-time continuum.
Wait, it's been 2 years and God knows how many firings and they're still doing this? What, are they Fox News on Hillary Clinton?
Also, Easter egg. The news reporter is played by the same actress who played the crazy bitch who tried to get into the bunker in Lane. Mark Stambler has the same last name as Howard Stambler from Lane, and his Twitter account, Paradox is Real, was a real account made for the ARG. What does this all mean? Nobody knows! Also, Mark is played by Donald Logue, who plays Harvey Bullock in Gotham. This is not the cinematic Marvel DC crossover I was expecting.
By the way, where the fuck is Mark broadcasting this from? A fucking cave? Why the hell is it so goddamn dark?
Well, we see this world suffers frequent blackouts. Maybe that's why.
What, with a laptop with still functioning internet?
Oh. After Volkov loads the Tesseract into the accelerator, we get a pretty cool scene where the crew is so desperate for it to work that these men of science feel it necessary to pray for it to do so.
The farther we travel from home, the clearer it becomes that there is a power infinitely greater than us. Please show your mercy and allow the shepherd to work this time, to provide the energy we need, to prevent our countries from going to war. Please, God, be on our side. Amen.
Amen. It was righteous.
They fire up the accelerator, we get a shot of a Slusho bobblehead that was also a part of the ARG, and it actually works.
Oh, look at that! Oh, yeah. Oh, that's pretty.
But then Mark is proven right. People have been theorizing that this event is what Emmett referred to in Lane.
And it looked like a flash, bright red, like an explosion from way far off. It wasn't like fireworks. No, this was more like something you'd read about in the Bible.
I mean, it's possible, but when I look at the particle accelerator, I don't think fucking red.
As they try to figure out what happened, Hamilton realizes that the Earth is gone. After freaking out and sulking about that for a while, they go about trying to fix it, only to find out that the Tesseract is also gone.
I secured this when we fired the ship. This look okay?
They go to find out what that noise was, only to find Tilda Swinton in the walls! Actually, it's an engineer named Mita Jensen, played by Elizabeth Debicki, and she somehow seems to know Hamilton. I guess even in the future, Lin-Manuel Moreno's at the top of his game! Michael as he finds out shit's blowing up outside, and his phone is also blowing up with messages about it. We see one asking if the air is safe to breathe, a reference to Lane, before cutting back to the station.
A woman appears in the wall. We're definitely not in Kentucky anymore.
Kansas.
Kansas. Really? Who gives a shit?
People from Kansas.
Oh yeah, Mundy is literally the only entertaining thing about this film.
Well, it's big, blue, full of angry people. Keep looking, you'll find it.
We just lost.
Totally routine day, copy that.
Money, take Schmidt and deal with the O2.
I'm a physicist.
And now you work for Monday.
Oh, your lucky day. It might be the gyro.
Then let's get that fancy compass fixed.
He's in shock.
Can you stop talking like I'm a kid and these are my parents?
Are you controlling it?
Of course I'm not controlling it, it's over there.
Are you sure?
Yes, I'm sure, because I'm giving you the finger right now. I think my arm's trying to write something. What are you talking about, arm? So we're hoping that the piece of equipment you found in someone's stomach is what's going to save the day. Good luck, everybody. My arm helped us find the Earth. Oh, I'd clap, you know, if I could.
Let's request a shuttle and give him status on the Shepherd.
And have them send us some champagne.
That's clever.
I'm clever.
After Schmidt tells Tam to meet him at X-Deck in 10 minutes, we get this scene.
Foosball! What, do the cosmic forces just want to have a quick match?
Maybe it's an echo of the match from breakfast? Anyway, Monday finds out the worms are missing, Schmidt and Tam work on their own for some reason, and then Volkov seems to have a disturbing episode.
No! What? Excuse me?
Yes, I know.
Who was he talking to?
He 3D prints a gun and then confronts Schmidt, thinking he might be a German spy, when suddenly he just keels over. They take him to the infirmary where he starts to look like the Norris thing before he dies and the worms explode out of his mouth.
But you should hear his theory about mutant space worms.
What the fuck? God, help me, asshole! The dogs! Hey! Guys!
What the fuck is that?
You think I know? Guys. Angel, your line's next. We then get an admittedly cool scene revealing who Jensen is. It's further explained that Jensen is the engineer from the timeline they've traveled to, and that in her timeline Schmidt was a German spy and sabotaged the ship. Commander Keel finds this out as well, and he's not happy.
Commander. What's going on?
They lock him up in a space closet, I guess, and we cut back to Michael. As he's driving to the hospital, his friend tells him that they've lost the Shepherd station. Suddenly Michael sees something horrifying. Finds a little girl named Molly and decides to take her into his care. On the station, Mundy is doing repairs with Magna Putty, which really needs an explanation of how it works. He loses his arm, they find it crawling around, and it tells them to cut Volkov open. And when they do, they find the Tesseract. They load it into the accelerator, fire it, and find the Earth on the other side of the sun. However...
Wait. Guys, listen.
Sources say the number of those killed today could be even greater than the Blitz on Berlin. The 14-month-old European war shows no sign of resolution. This as China sends warships further west.
Yes, it seems they've traveled to another reality, one that Jensen actually comes from. They disagree whether they should try and go back to their world or go down to the Earth in this one. We cut back to Michael, who's taking Molly in.
We're gonna find your parents. The most important thing right now is keeping you safe.
Who keeps M&Ms in their glove compartment?
Shouldn't text while driving.
You're a smart kid. Only in emergencies. Disqualifies.
Also, you see any other cars on the road? Is the apocalypse? Rules break down so I can text and drive. I win. Michael takes her to a bunker, not the one from Lane. This is owned by a guy named Peter. Before we cut back to the station, where Monk is giving Jensen some food, who tells him going back to their dimension will trap her there. Tam theorizes condensation could have overloaded the accelerator to Schmidt, and that ventilation could fix it. Schmidt runs a simulation and finds out it could, but while Tam is collecting a shower curtain... Hey, like in Lane! Water starts randomly filling the room. Hamilton and Keel try to help her, but the airlock, which is in the shower, bursts open, turning Tam into a chopsicle. What? I couldn't resist. With Tam dead, they're forced to employ Jensen's help, who tells them they don't have enough power. When Hamilton gives Jensen some spare clothes, Jensen tells her that in her world, her family is still alive. And Gugu's reaction is rather well acted here.
Wow, how fucking convenient the station just so happened to have footage of her world's events on standby.
As Mundy tells them shutting off the O2 pumps would give them enough power, Hamilton tells Keel that she needs to stay in this world to warn its version of her not to steal the power cell that caused the fire. Mundy goes to transfer the oxygen when another anomaly starts up.
Sweet. Whoa. Guys. No. Guys.
Hey look, Tagarado! Those old rascals, they're always showing up where they don't belong. Like this movie.
What is the Magnum Putty fucking sentient now? Why did it pull him back? Why not just have it stab through him trying to get to their wall?
The room explodes, offsetting the maintenance ring. The crew recover while Jensen looks over blueprints, at least I think she does, or I sure don't. She tells them that the offset ring could tear the entire station apart, so they need to decouple it manually. Keel, Hamilton, and Monk go to do that, while Jensen and Schmidt stay behind.
This Schmidt that betrayed you. You realize he's not me, right?
God damn it, can't you just forget that I'm Baron Zemo? I was hardly even in Civil War. It's not that hard.
They manage to decouple the ring, but Keel is forced to stay behind and sacrifice himself. Back on Earth, Michael is—
Wait, hold the fuck on. What the fuck is that video? Was he there in person filming it? How's it so still? Or even dumber, did he record a vid call? Who does that?
someone whose wife is in space.
But that doesn't even look like space. It looks like a house. And if it is, why the fuck would he be vid calling her?
Anyway, after his friend Joe tells him he's reached Molly's parents, Michael records a message for Ava, who, on Shepard, tells Jensen to copy their data and take it home with her before they go back to their world. The two of them get into an escape pod before...
What? Why?
Yes, it appears that Jensen is suddenly the villain. After killing Monk and wounding Schmidt, she tells Hamilton that her world needs the Shepherd since hers was destroyed.
So you're just gonna kill us? If you're asking me if I'm willing to kill 3 people to save 8 billion, wouldn't you?
You're killing 8 billion by stealing their Shepherd, you stupid bitch! Even if their Shepherd is destroyed, she could still take the data like she was going to, have the best mathematicians look over it, and once they realize it'll work, I'm pretty sure they'd have no choice but to do it again. Sure, there's still millions of dollars gone for the first one, but I think we could fucking afford it if we cut military spending. This is fucking stupid.
After fulfilling the random Chekhov's foosball table, Hamilton manages to kill Jensen. Oh god, no, not like that! Oh, okay. Hamilton decides not to go to this Earth, but instead record a message for the other Ava, with Tam's data attached and a personal message.
I need to say 2 things that won't make sense to you. But please hear me and understand how important these both are. First, if you've installed a power cell at the house, take it out. Now. It's wrong and it's dangerous, and if these plans work, you won't need to siphon power anyway. And 2, whatever you're doing right now, whatever meeting you're in or wherever you're going, stop. Go to your husband and your children. Right now. Go to them and hold them. Hold them for as long as you can. Kiss them and love them and know how blessed you are to have them in your life. That's all there is.
Are you fucking kidding me? That's what this message was about? The way they put it in the trailer makes it seem so much more important.
Whatever you're doing, stop.
But no, it's a warning to Hamilton and her family who we don't give a shit about. Fuck you.
Hamilton and Schmidt manage to get back to their world and get the accelerator working.
It's working.
If the world is ravaged by monsters, is there really a point cheering for that?
As Schmidt and Hamilton fly back to Earth, Michael's friend tells him they're on their way. Unfortunately, Michael isn't happy about that.
You're having to come back to Earth. Do they know what's happening here?
No, there wasn't time. We lost contact. Listen, just get to the Delaware coast. She's splashing down at 4:30.
Have you lost your mind?
The station's been through hell.
You're having to come back to these things.
There's nothing we could do. They couldn't stay up there. Michael, there wasn't a choice.
There is a choice. Tell them not to come back. Tell them not to come back!
Also, what did you want them to do, Michael? Have them stay on the Shepherd?
Yep, that was Cloverfield paradox.
And I don't want to be that fan, but I honestly think this ruins the franchise.
Also, if the monster is big enough to reach past the fucking clouds, how did Schmidt and Hamilton not see it from the space station? Especially if there's more than one. Like Lane, this movie was originally an unrelated script that was converted into a Cloverfield movie. And while they managed to pull it off with Lane, it really shows here. Everything Cloverfield related just feels slapped on, especially the monster at the end. On top of that, even on its own, it's a boring movie. None of the characters besides Mundy are interesting, and the twists are just not surprising. And think about it, Cloverfield as a franchise isn't about the characters. Hell, few kaiju movies are. It's always been about the mystery, likely because of Abrams' style of storytelling. The original Cloverfield came out 10 years ago, and in the trailer for this movie, they say, 10 years ago, something happens. Now find out why. Well, we may have found out why, but that doesn't mean it answered our fucking questions. In fact, it just raises more. 10 years of speculating and theorizing, and this movie spits in your face and laughs at you for doing it.
Well, didn't The Last Jedi do sort of the same thing? We love that. After so much speculating about who Rey's parents were, everyone thinking it'd be Luke or Obi-Wan or Han and Leia, it's revealed that they were nobodies who sold her for beer money. Yeah, but that's good storytelling. As satisfying as it would be to make Rey connected to an important character, making her a nobody improves her character. It shows that a nobody can become a somebody. It doesn't matter who you are. You don't have to have mighty Skywalker blood.
Plus, nobody had to speculate on that. Think about it. While Rey's parents were important as a plot device and a character flaw for Rey, The Force Awakens never says that who her parents are is important, or that they had to be someone we already knew. That was almost entirely spawned from fan speculation. But with Cloverfield, from the very beginning, they left clues online and in real life. Their ARGs told us that there was more to what was going on in this world, and that it was important. But before Paradox, parallel universes and time travel were never hinted at. Instead of being a good twist, it needlessly complicates the franchise. There were so many better theories that could have been proven in this installment. But no, instead we get this horse shit.
So we might as well break down where we are in the franchise's story right now. Now, because of the final shot, you might assume that the escape pod is what's seen in the final shot of the original film, crashing into the ocean, but it's not. On top of the timelines not syncing up, it was established long ago that it was debris from a destroyed satellite. So here's the deal. Right now, the prevailing theory is that all three films are separate timelines, with Paradox obviously having two. The particle accelerator overload, like Mark Stambler said, created shockwaves and chaos throughout these timelines, presumably sending the monster back thousands of years to sleep at the bottom of the ocean, the aliens to Earth and Lane, and presumably the rest of the monsters, possibly including the original monster's mother, to Earth and Paradox. This is what the line splitting off of Paradox's logo means, like Lane's line symbolizing the bunker. And here's something I find interesting. I think they knew this movie would suck. For one thing, they just kind of plopped it on Netflix out of nowhere. Then you also find out that the next film, Overlord, set during World War II, is coming out later this year in October. This almost seems to say that they delayed this movie's release as much as possible because they knew fans would hate it, and they wanted to release another movie not long after to make up for it. And sure, I will be seeing it to see if it does, but right now, and I do hate to say it, I think my favorite kaiju franchise is dead.
Fuck it, I'm gonna get this thing on camera.
How long has it been there?
I don't know.